What if I told you that every day you unknowingly suppress the most powerful force you possess? Not some mystical, faraway energy, your energy. The invisible current that moves through your body, controls your emotions, fuels your thoughts, and yet remains ignored. You dismiss it as fatigue, as stress, as just the way things are. But what if that exhaustion is not depletion, but misuse? What if what we call energy is something far closer to magic than we ever dared to admit? Picture this. You wake up, groggy, feeling drained before the day even begins. You chug something to wake yourself up, caffeine, sugar, a cold splash of water, but the exhaustion lingers underneath, like a flickering light bulb straining against a faulty connection. You assume this is normal. You assume it's just life. But deep down, something gnaws at you. An instinct, a whisper, the sense that there is something more, something unseen, something off. Because it is. The world as you've been taught to see it is missing a fundamental truth. Energy is not just fuel. It is a force. It shapes reality, directs outcomes, and responds to intention. The ancient alchemists knew it, hidden within their cryptic symbols. The great minds of science hinted at it, only for their discoveries to be quietly buried under more acceptable explanations. And yet, you experience it every day. The moment you step into a room and feel the tension in the air, the way a single thought can make your heart race or bring you to the edge of tears. The strange, inexplicable charge when someone looks at you from across a crowded space. You call it instinct, intuition, coincidence. But what if it's something far more tangible? Consider this. When you focus your attention on something, you alter it. This is not philosophy, it's physics. Your awareness shapes outcomes. But if observation alone has this effect, imagine what deliberate intention could do. The truth hidden in plain sight is this. Energy is not passive. It is not merely spent and replenished like a battery. It is directed, and the way you do direct it determines your reality. Right now, you waste it without knowing. Scattered thoughts, unchecked emotions, a body constantly buzzing with static, stuck in cycles of stress, frustration, and distraction. You leak energy every second, and the world around you absorbs it, twists it, feeds on it. And so, you wake up exhausted. You go through the motions, running on the fumes of your own untapped potential, never questioning why, because no one ever told you the truth. Your energy is not just vitality, it is power. The same force that makes your heart beat, that carries your thoughts, that fuels your emotions, is the very force that shapes your world. And every time you ignore it, let it scatter, or let it be hijacked by external forces, you lose a piece of the magic within you. But the moment you become aware of it, the moment you begin to focus it, everything changes. It starts small, a shift in attention, a subtle redirection. You take back the energy that has been slipping away unnoticed. You stop reacting and start choosing. And as your energy aligns, so does your reality. Things fall into place. Coincidences become patterns. Doors open where none existed before. This is not fantasy. This is the power within you, the power you ignore every day. And then something shifts. It starts subtly, almost imperceptibly. A flicker at the edge of awareness. A thought you didn't place there. A feeling that wasn't there a moment ago. A ripple in the unseen current around you. Because now you are paying attention. For the first time, you are noticing the constant exchange, the silent interplay of energy between you and the world. You always assumed it was just life happening, but now you see the strings being pulled, the invisible forces at work. The way a room feels different after an argument, like the walls themselves absorb the tension. The way laughter spreads, igniting something beyond sound, an unseen pulse of warmth. The way certain people seem to drain you just by standing too close, as if they are unknowingly siphoning something from you. What if it isn't unknowing at all? There is a reason you feel depleted around some, yet inexplicably charged around others. A reason why your mood, your thoughts, even your very sense of self can shift depending on where you are and who you're with. You have been conditioned to believe that energy is merely something you feel, but the truth is far stranger. Energy is something you exchange, and the world around you is built on that exchange. Think about the moments when you felt utterly drained for no reason, like something was subtly siphoning your life force. You brushed it off as stress, as fatigue, as coincidence. But what if the exhaustion wasn't yours to begin with? What if the way you feel is not just dictated by your own thoughts and actions, but by the energy signatures of everything around you? This is where the next layer of the truth reveals itself. Your energy is not just yours. It is entangled. It does not exist in isolation, neatly contained within your body like a closed circuit. It stretches outward, weaves into the environment. collides and merges with other fields, forming unseen connections that shape your reality in ways you never imagined. And yet, you've been trained to ignore this. You've been told that the weight you feel pressing against your chest when you walk into a room is just a bad mood, that the inexplicable clarity that strikes at odd moments is just luck, that the moments when time slows, when a sudden, undeniable knowing grips you, are merely imagination. But what if it's not? The air between you and another person is not empty. It is filled with invisible signals, with the echoes of unspoken thoughts, with the imprint of every emotion that has passed through it. You have felt it. When someone stares at you from behind and you just know without seeing. When a loved one is about to call and you feel it before the phone even rings. When you step into a place and sense without a word that something is off. This is not chance. This is entanglement. Your energy is not just affected by those you interact with. It is linked to them. The people in your life, the places you frequent, even objects you hold close, all carry an imprint of your energy, just as you carry theirs. The more time you spend in a certain space, the more your energy weaves into it, leaving behind a signature. This is why old places feel haunted with memory. This is why certain belongings hold an inexplicable pull, as if they are charged with something beyond their material form. This is why emotions linger in the air long after words have been spoken. Your energy is never lost. It moves, it transfers, it binds. And once you realize this, once you see the threads, you can begin to pull them. You can reclaim the energy that has been scattered, sever the invisible ties that drain you, strengthen the ones that empower you. You can begin to feel the shift in real time, the sudden lightness when you break a toxic connection, the instant warmth when you focus intention into something you love. This is not mysticism. This is physics. The same principles that govern the quantum world, where particles communicate across vast distances, where observation alters reality, govern you as well. You are not separate from the forces that shape the universe. You are one of them. And now that you see the strings, you can stop being the puppet, because energy is not just something you use, it is something you wield. And now the question lingers in the air, charged like an unspoken secret. If energy is something you wield, why does it feel like something wields you? You have felt it before, the invisible hand guiding your choices, nudging your emotions, steering you into loops of thought and action so seamlessly that you never even question if they were truly yours. You call it habit, conditioning, personality. But beneath these labels, a deeper, more unsettling truth begins to take shape. Your energy is being directed even when you are not the one directing it. But by who? By what? Step outside. Look around. Every street, every building, every screen radiates signals, not just of information, but of influence. You scroll through images that stir emotions you never intended to feel. You hear a voice on the radio, a passing conversation, a snippet of news, and before you even process it, a shift occurs within you. A spark of anxiety, a tug of frustration, a flicker of desire for something you didn't want a moment ago. These are not random reactions. They are responses to an unseen manipulation of energy. This is where the next layer of truth unfolds. Your energy is programmable. Like an open channel, it receives signals from the world around you. These signals shape your emotions, your perceptions, your very reality. But the real question is, who is programming it? For centuries, the power to influence energy has been hidden in plain sight. It is the reason certain words trigger deep responses, the reason music can alter moods, the reason symbols and colors, seemingly innocuous, hold an inexplicable pull. This is not magic. This is a system of control, one that operates at the level of frequency. Everything vibrates. From the pulse of your heartbeat to the wavelengths of the devices you carry, from the rhythm of your breath to the hidden frequencies embedded in everyday life. And what you do not realize, what you were never meant to realize, is that these frequencies shape you. They sculpt your thoughts, modulate your emotions, and direct the very energy you once believed was solely your own. Consider this. Have you ever found yourself thinking a thought that felt placed there? An intrusive worry that wasn't yours? A sudden, inexplicable urge to act against your own best interest? You assume these are simply passing whims. But what if they are echoes, transmissions, instructions embedded into the very air you breathe? The architecture of your environment is designed not just for function, but for frequency. The patterns in the cityscape, the wavelengths of artificial lights, the placement of sounds and images, all tuned to specific vibrations that subtly shape your internal state. This is why nature feels different, why stepping into an untouched space clears your mind in a way nothing else can, Because in those moments, you are stepping outside the program. And this is where the awakening begins. Now that you see the signals, you can learn to block them. Now that you recognize the manipulation, you can reclaim control. Your energy is not a passive current, helplessly swept along by the frequencies of the world. It is something you can tune. The way you breathe, the sounds you expose yourself to, the thoughts you choose to hold, all of these shift your frequency, recalibrate your field, rewrite the program that has been running unnoticed within you. And the moment you begin to shift, the world around you shifts in response. Because the greatest secret, the one hidden beneath centuries of distraction, noise, and conditioning, is this. The frequency you emit is the frequency you attract. When your energy is scattered, the world reflects chaos back to you. When your energy is programmed by external forces, your reality is no longer your own. But when you take control, when you become the signal rather than the receiver, you begin to shape reality itself. And then, for the first time, you are awake. And then the realization hits you like a jolt of electricity. If the frequency you emit is the frequency you attract, if your energy shapes reality, then what does that really mean? It means the world you see, the events you experience, the very flow of your life was never random. It was never just luck or circumstance. It was a reflection, a mirror of the energy you have been unknowingly transmitting all along. And yet, there is one final, deeper truth, one that was always there, hidden in plain sight. Energy is not just something you emit. It is something you become. Your thoughts, your emotions, your very being vibrate at a specific frequency, and that frequency determines what is real to you. This is why two people can stand in the same place at the same time and live in completely different worlds. Why one person sees only obstacles while another sees opportunities. Why some people seem to walk through life with an effortless flow while others struggle against an invisible current. It was never about what was happening to you. It was always about the energy you were tuned into. And this is where the final test begins. Now that you know, what will you do with it? Most people, when confronted with this truth, retreat. They slip back into old patterns, allowing the noise of the world to lull them back into the illusion of randomness. They convince themselves that their reality is beyond their control, that their energy is something to be managed, not mastered. But some, a few, will take the next step. Because once you understand that energy is not just an external force, but the very fabric of who you are, you realize that changing your reality is not about effort. It is about alignment. The key is not to force things to happen. The key is to become the version of yourself that already exists at the frequency of what you seek. Everything you desire, every possibility, every future you could ever live already exists right now. The only reason you have not experienced it is because your energy has not yet matched it. So how do you shift? It is not through wishing, not through waiting, not through struggle. It is through tuning, the way you breathe, the way you think, the way you feel when no one is watching. These are the dials of reality. Shift them and the world rearranges around you. You've already seen the proof. Those fleeting moments when everything just clicks, when the impossible bends to your will, when you're in the right place at the right time as if something unseen has guided you. That was not chance. That was alignment. And now you stand at the threshold. You can dismiss this. Pretend you never felt the truth pressing against the edges of your awareness. Or you can take the first step into something far greater than you were ever told was possible. The choice is yours. But know this. The moment you truly begin to wield your energy, the world will no longer happen to you. It will happen through you.